Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time that you are watching this video. I am Sawene and welcome to the Convo Table Show. This is a show where we sit back and discuss issues affecting our community at large. To help me break down the issue of poverty amongst the youths, I am joined by, they will introduce themselves from my immediate right.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Nyongesa from Kibabi University. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Vivian Nekesa from Kibabi University.
Thank you. From my immediate right, left.
Hi, I'm Harrison Wanyonyi, a student at Kibabi University.
Yes.
And Esther Mwendwa from Kibabi University. You're all welcome.
Thank you so much. You are all welcome to this show. So first things first, we cannot understand a problem or we cannot explain a problem when we really don't know what it means. We will start by Mwendwa. What do you understand by the term poverty?
Okay, I can say that poverty is a state of inefficiency whereby you find that you don't have everything that you need at that particular time. So in simple terms, people will refer it as poverty. Yeah.
And today we are not just talking about poverty, we are specifically draining it down to poverty amongst the youths. Maybe we get an understanding from Jackton.
Thank you. As we talk about poverty among the youths, as all of us understand, poverty, the youths is a large population in our country, and these are the young people who have been affected. And most of them are not able to provide for themselves. For example, they cannot be able to get the basic needs like food, shelter and other things. So we're going to break down so they can understand how we can help our youth to provide for themselves. Yeah, thank you.
Harrison, what is your own understanding? You know, when we talk about poverty among the youth, we are draining down to an age bracket of between 18 and 35, right? Most of us here are between that bracket, so we are in position to explain what it really is. So maybe we get an understanding from you, Harrison.
Yeah, as you know, youths are the majority. We are the majority. That is it, isn't it? Now, when the majority of the people are unable to meet their needs or expectation, now it is now poverty. Because we are the majority and we can't be able to afford what we want, now I can term it as poverty. Yeah, according to me.
My take is, according to the US statistics,
Yes.
that they define poverty that if I can't live beyond, if I can't afford the $1 per day,
Yes.
then I'm poor.
Okay.
If I'm making less than $1 in a day, I can't sustain myself economically, socially, politically. So then I'm termed as poor.
So, oh, nice. Thank you for those definitions. So, guys, as we continue to break down this problem facing our community, please like this video, comment down there, and subscribe as well. So, we are going one-on-one to know what are some of the causes of poverty amongst the youths, to be specific. Starting with Esther, please.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the major causes of poverty, it's the background. That is from where someone came from. And you find that there are very many people who came from very humble backgrounds. And you know, for kind children, it is not very easy even to access education. And even it's a discouragement even in the society. So you find that those children, as they are growing, it is a background that does not encourage them, especially in terms of education. So you find that by the time they get to our age, they have nothing where they can stand from and at least do something. So I think background really affects, especially those from humble or rather poor backgrounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harrison.
Yeah, to add on what my friend has said on family background, you find that we have some affluent family, able family, and this one wenye wanaishi kwa neema ya Mungu tu. So you will definitely find that, for example, in some schools, watoto wanaenda trips, academic trips, your child is unable to pay. He will not be able to go. whatever they will learn there, he will not be able to grasp our content. Maybe a teacher wants a certain revision material. Watoto kutoka kwa ile ya familia ya wazito, they access it. Wewe kwa ile familia ya neema ya Mungu that you can't afford, you definitely will not be able to find that material. So it will affect you. And from the statistics, they say that children who are born from poor family and the children from the rich family, huyu wa rich family akona 20% chance high of grasping our content than huyu mwenye ametoka kwa familia iko na njaa, because a teacher will be teaching. Mind wewe inafikiria ulilala njaa. Will you grasp a concept kweli? Definitely will not. Yeah.
Okay. Jacta.
Okay, thank you. Maybe to add another cause is a poor basic infrastructure. That is roads, communication lines. You find that here in Kenya specifically, most of our roads, they are very poor. And being a country that rely more on agriculture, you find that maybe the farmers can maybe want to export their products maybe to other markets, but it is difficult for them to access the market. Then when it comes to businesses, because we have poor communication lines, it becomes a challenge. Me as a youth, I want to begin a business, but I want to be in a position to start a business because where I'm coming from, the roads are very poor. There's no communication. For example, network is so bad. So this becomes a challenge to most of the youths when they want to explore other maybe areas so that they can get something that they can eat or even provide for their families.
Wow. Yes, Malaka.
I honestly believe that infrastructure plays a very major role. I don't have a roof over my head when it's raining. How do I then go to school? One thing that highlighted our problem as a country was coronavirus, because now it just puts a dent on everything that is wrong and needs to be worked on. Children were sent home. We were told stay put, but then after a few months we were told online studying. I can barely afford food, so how do I find a phone so that I can study online?
Exactly.
I don't have a book, I don't have a pencil. We learn under a tree. Then how do I access the internet?
So that becomes a very big problem.
A very big problem. Yeah.
Maybe if someone has something to add on what Nekesa said.
Maybe to add, Savannah, you have these are online businesses, and currently, like we go to those developed countries, most youth are engaged in these online businesses. But for us, because of these poor infrastructure in terms of communication lines, there's no network, there's no way you can access maybe those smartphones. And so our youths probably, they're going to rely on this manual work. And yet, money is made online. So you find that it is a big problem to us as Kenya. If we want to eradicate this poverty among our youth, we need to work on our infrastructure.
Okay, I remember someone mentioned something about inadequate education. I didn't understand that very well. I really need to like a bigger expansion so that it can get into my head. I don't know if you're in position to do that, Esther.
Of course I can.
Yes.
Maybe to talk about inadequate education.
Yes.
From the word inadequate, it means it's not enough.
Exactly.
Like you have not received what is essential to help you in our society. And you find, by the way, the world now is like, it's a global community. Like you need education. You need to know the languages to speak. You need to know how to write, how to calculate, like we have seen in our elections.
Exactly.
Calculations.
Yeah.
So
100%.
you find that when we talk about inadequate education, we are talking about these youths who are not able to access from the basic education level, like primary, secondary, then to tertiary. So you find that somebody went just to primary. In our time it was called class, now they are calling it grade.
Yes.
So akafika class 3 and then boom, it is done. So you find that for sure they haven't received anything enough. That exposure, you know, education gives you exposure. even to various people. You can socialize with different people, and you know, the more you are socializing, you are creating network, which can easily give you a job. But you find now for this kind of a child, when they get to our age now, they don't have the networks, they don't have the knowledge in their heads, like, how can I start a business anyway? You don't have the knowledge. Fine. So that's why you find that inadequacy of education is a great trouble to our youth today. So if you are not able to access education from that basic level, it is not very possible to cope up with the kind of economy that we are living in today.
But remember, we still have a percentage of young people who are in the norm of education is not a must. Like I have my father who did 1, 2, 3, succeeded, and I can still succeed without education. What do you think of such people, Carissa?
Yeah, we have such notion, Serena, as you have said. We have, when you look at them, the success or success history of people, we have people who succeeded through education, and we have people who succeeded through other means, not apart from education. So you will see, like a child, for example, if his or her parents did not go to school and they are driving, they have money,
Yes.
they are living that kind of affluent life. Definitely you will find that a child will be discouraged. Maybe he or she is in a school, you try to force her to learn or to get that education, atakwambia baba yangu hakusoma na anaendesha gari, na we mwalimu mwenye ulisoma unakuja na baiskeli kwa shule, huna kazi, you are struggling. So see, you see, so that one will also discourage or kill the morale of that child to pursue that education, because he or she will know that even if I will do this one, it is not the only way. I can use another alternative and I become successful. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned something about I can use another alternative. What are these alternatives that might come so that someone can succeed, especially the youth?
The youth. The youth, apart from going to class or whatever, to acquire knowledge on that particular area he or she want to specialize, a youth can go like you Juakali, you just learn the skills, not necessarily that you go to class.
Yes.
Basic skills. For example, mechanic. I can come, maybe you are a mechanic, you have that mechanic station. I come, I just sit, watch as you are doing, I gain the skill, I can go and open mine. Still, not necessarily that I go to a college and whatever. Yeah.
You see, and you notice that very many youths, especially these idle ones, not just idle, there are those who have gone to school, there are those who haven't gone to school, and then they are done with school, they've been given quality education, but they end up entering into things like gambling. Do you think like gambling is also a cause of poverty amongst the youths?
Okay, thank you. I think gambling is one of the causes of poverty among the youth.
How does it affect us?
Because gambling is just playing cards. You are not sure whether you're going to win or not.
Yes.
And for instance, I had a friend of mine who was addicted over gambling. He used to gamble. Once he can win, like maybe 10,000.
Okay.
Then something comes in his mind that let me put all 10,000 so that I can get 100,000. When he does that, all the money goes that way.
He loses
all the money.
Yes.
So we cannot be sure that gambling is another way of bringing income. But for me, gambling is a cause of poverty. Many youths around here, they are crying because they don't have money. Their results mekuliwa na gambling. So you find they are going to steal so that they can come and do what? Gamble. Yeah.
If you can add something.
I believe gambling as an addiction can get to a point where it gets extreme because you're looking for the next big thing. You're looking for how then do I get this money? If I get this money, I can get more money. Then I can get you. It can't sustain.
You get.
Yeah,
Yes.
I want the next big thing. And like any other addiction, just like alcohol, just like marijuana, it gets bad. So it's not sustainable.
Someone told me inequality and injustice also is a cause of poverty. I really didn't understand that. Maybe one of you can explain to me that inequality and injustice. How is that causing poverty amongst the youths? Esther?
Yes, thank you. So, when you talk about inequality, it basically means that maybe I'm on 3/4 and you are on a quarter,
Yes.
or I you know. So you find that in our, let me talk about our nation. We have a very big gap between the rich and the poor. So you find that when the services are being provided, most of them will go to the rich kids, and then the we who are in the aid, the poor ones, they don't get access to those services. So you find that things like bursaries, they are there, but you find that those people who are in power now, they don't give it to the poor, the people who come from poor backgrounds, but they consider these ones who are still rich, and this property still goes to them. So you find it that there is an equality. Like these ones are receiving the best, and the ones who are low, they are receiving very low services. And that then you find that it's a discouragement. When you understand something like that, you feel like, my God, in our family we can't make it. That is
Exactly.
one thing. So, and you know, youth are very fragile. Youths are very fragile. So in case they don't get such services, they feel they are degraded in the society, and so they end up giving up. They end up in drugs, and so you find that they are causing poverty.
And you also notice that inequality and injustice is not only at home or in jobs or in schools. It is also in our churches. It is also in our churches. You go to a church, it's a very big church, very beautiful, decorated, but the people who are entering that church, oh no.
Okay, as you have said, it's all about the classes. We have the higher class, we have the middle class, and the lower class.
Yes.
And inequality and injustice has extended even to the church level. Currently, even here in Kenya, we have churches where even the offering, you can go there with 50 shillings as an offering.
Yes.
So you find that people will going, those will be going in that church. Those people who can give maybe, let me say, the least amount can be 1,000 shillings an offering. Then we have those churches where people can give even 5 shillings. So these are found in the rural areas. But in urban areas, you find no. So this is a big problem. And you find that those children who have been brought up in such like churches, they have an exposure to many things as compared to these other children.
Yes.
So this brings inequality, even to access the resources. Because you find that if this is a big church, yes, we have those people who are more exposed, like the doctors, teachers, the lawyers, the engineers. But in these other churches, you find that we have those people who come from the same background. Those people are, those call themselves poor. Even the poor person, again, can call them poor because of the state itself. So it becomes a difficult for these children from those poor backgrounds to be exposed so that they can enlighten. And this issue comes again to even the allocation of resources. You find because this church has a president, when maybe the government wants to issue something to the churches, this church that has the president automatically is going to get a big share as compared to the other church.
It's true.
Yes.
Wow. They say, yes.
Just to add on that, in terms of, we have this thing called prosperity gospel.
Yes.
Is toleni Bwana wetu, tumtolee Bwana. So the congregation is making the little they're getting. Tumtolee pastor, tumtolee pastor, tumtolee pastor. You're starving, you're going home on an empty stomach.
In the name
just
of?
In the name of mtolee
Ndio ubarikiwe.
You
Yes.
see, and it brings this mentality. Instead of the little earnings we have, it brings such drift. The pastor is driving a very huge car, but the congregation is languishing.
It is in a mess. Nowadays, I'm told they say the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting
poor.
Yeah,
That is the notion of the time. So, you know, when we have identified some of the causes, do we have any other cause maybe we've not mentioned?
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
So, thank you for the opportunity. If I can add, another cause of poverty is unemployment. As I said, in Eastern Africa, Kenya being one of them, and the superpower, we are having the highest rate of unemployment according to UNDP report, whereby they said around over 80%
Yes.
of the youth are unemployed. That is transmits to around out of 5 in a group of 5 like we are. One of us might be unemployed. The way we are, one of us is unemployed. And if you can see, year in, year out, our colleges, our universities are producing graduates in thousands. They are going out, but out of those lots of them, the probability of you attaining or getting employed is 0.001. Not the Cherela kind of, but you will definitely struggle. So it is causing poverty. Why? We are going out, many, but getting now the job, Mungu wangu. If you don't have your other skills, maybe apart from your degree, apart from other things, you will be unemployed. Yeah. You will, when you are unemployed, you can't afford the basic need. You will not live in good houses in Mudaika. You will not live in Karen. Your home will be maybe in Kibra, yeah, Mukuru Kwanjenga. In Bungoma, I'm told we have a slum known as Mandizin, isn't it? So, you will not find a person like a principal anaishi Mandizin, but utapata sisi watu wa mkokoteni, we are living there, we are not working. At the end of the month, hatuna kitu itatupeleka huko. I was reading a certain book known as Native Son, whereby it is a black American literature, whereby blacks were confined in a certain cocoon because of them. They are not employed, they cannot afford to live in good estates. So that one will, because of unemployment, we live there, and when we live there, I'm very sure if you go to Kibera, I was told that we have some flying toilets because the condition around there. But suppose those people are employed, so wangekuwa naishi Karen huko.
Or rather they would have improved that area.
Yeah.
Someone told me that education is also one of the major causes of poverty amongst the youths. I know someone might not understand me this, but this was their explanation. They say, well, like, let's look at these people who are in the universities, people who are doing degrees, they're doing masters. Parents back at home have sold lands, have sold houses, they've sold their cars in the name of taking this person to school, right?
Yeah.
Hata wewe ukiangalia nyumbani, for those of us who don't come from maybe very good backgrounds, kapis kashamba kamekatwa, kauzwe ndo uende shule. Back at home, they're not very stable, but they're doing everything they can so that you can go and get that education. You go get that education, you finish, you graduate, pass with flying colors, and then you come back home to sit with them. Do you think it is right to say that education is also a cause of poverty? Based on my explanation. Jackton, you're laughing.
I think I can disagree.
Yes.
Somebody was talking to me and said that, you know, we have a short-term investment and we have a long-term investment.
Yes.
So when you talk about education, these are long-term investment. And that's why we find that parents are working hard to ensure that their children are educated. And when they sell a piece of land, for instance, currently they can sell a piece of land from where I come from. Like an acre can be 800,000. Those 800,000, for now, they cannot be able to sustain me as Joktan. But when my dad said that I want acre of land, then he educated me. That education will be able to sustain myself, together with my family, and even my
children.
Okay, you're getting that education,
Yeah.
right? Maybe you're a teacher. Let's say maybe you're an ECD teacher or a primary teacher or something of the sort. You get that education, you're done, you come, you get that job. You're being paid 20,000 Kenyan shillings. You have a family, you have to provide for your family, you have to provide for yourself. Back at home, your parents sold their piece of land, inafaa ufanye nini? Urudishe mkono. How are you going to manage with 20,000 Kenyan shillings?
Now, so when you come to education, education is there to enlighten us. For instance, currently they are training us to be entrepreneurs. I'm not supposed to focus on only on that 20,000 shillings. I can go an extra mile, having my other businesses, other investments, so that I can have something good that will be able to sustain myself and also give back to their families.
Oh, nice. Now that we have causes of poverty, I think it will be very good of us to also understand how we can curb these problems, isn't it? These are messes in the community, these are messes in the youth, but we also have to find ways of how we can prevent this poverty amongst ourselves. So, where do we start?
One thing I'd like to say is that if we are nipping it on the bud, we start from, yes, the youths we know very well are the backbone of our country. Our creativity, our innovation, it's what keeps this country moving. So if we're saying we're going to school, we're getting a degree, but we're not getting anything out of it, we're coming home and we're staying with our parents, then we need to get creative. There's Ajira. I'm glad that the government is doing something about the youth unemployment. Ajira is a very innovative online space that even if you're at home and you can access the internet, they can give you a job, you get something at the end of the day. So we're trying to shift our mindset from lazima niende kwa ofisi ndio niseme niko na kazi.
Yes.
Lazima niende kwa classroom ndio niseme niko na kazi. That's what we are trying to shift. So more technical training, hands-on, more jua kali, more beauticians, more tailors, not just an 8 to 5 official looking job. I think that's what the government is trying to empower the technical institutions, which is brilliant.
Let's get a piece from Jackson.
Another way of getting this poverty among the youths is by improving our basic infrastructure, because they play a greater role in the economy of our country. For instance, the government needs to work on the roads so that the young people, that the youths, can be able to access the market. So when I begin a business, I'm able to the customers are able to access my business, and also I'm able to access the premises of my suppliers. This will help us to encourage more youths to venture more into businesses. Then again, we need to work on our communication lines, for example, the networks. The government needs to install more boosters, even in the local areas, so that we can avoid this problem of people migrating from the rural areas to urban areas, which leads to unemployment. Because when we have developed the rural areas, they used to stay in the rural areas because they can access the network, and also again they can also work online, even when they are still in their rural areas.
Yes. Nice. Harrison.
Oh, I want to disagree with my colleagues a bit. I want to take a different perspective on curbing and maybe solving that challenge of poverty among the youth. I want to believe that education can be the cause of you being poor. Education itself. As much as we are saying that education will alleviate us from poverty, but you will find like I go to school, I come out with that maybe first class honor degree, and I come and put it at home. I'm not going out. I'm not aggressive to go and look for employment. Employment will not come and find me and knock my door. I must go out. Hey, open doors. Be aggressive. But you go with your first class, you come and put it home at home, and we are living in a competitive world. People are struggling. So with my education, nitakuwa nimepoteza, isn't it? Masomo haijaniletea, but rather imenifanya nikawa mjinga zaidi. So how to maybe to alleviate that one is to change the attitude. We have many graduates, especially if you go out there, you will find people akikwambia niko na degree, niko na master kwa nyumba, but siwezi fanya hii kazi. I just kama nilisomea banking, I want it to be banking. No, what we ought to do as youth to change the attitude. Kazi yoyote ikipatikana, take from where penye utakuwa umechukulia, you will be able to improve. But suppose I did a degree in commerce na kazi ipatikane mahali ya kuuza kwa hoteli. Mimi ati nitakaa tu nyumbani niseme kwa sababu nilisoma hiyo si kazi yangu, and people are earning there. So if we will change or we will change the attitude, I think we will alleviate that problem of unemployment. But if we stick on nafanya kazi yenye nilisomea na nitangoja tu lazima paka niandikwe, my friend, tutangoja sana.
Esther.
Yeah, so I think another thing that can be done, number one thing, if there is to be change, it has to begin from you.
Yes.
So I believe that as young people, not that everybody is just poor because of very many circumstances. Some are generally lazy.
Yes.
You know, even the Bible says you cannot eat unless you work.
Exactly.
So I believe youths must work. Yeah. You don't just sit and wait for food on the table or job. No, you must work. And then another thing,
We should be open-minded, such that you don't only depend on education, or if you are a farmer, you don't just depend on farming, because you know there's this aspect of climate change.
Yes.
Like for now, farmers are really suffering out there.
Exactly.
Especially they that have depended on agriculture alone, because you find that when we were kids, we could roughly estimate that on 15th October it will be raining.
Exactly.
But nowadays, utaonwa, you know?
Utangoja sana.
Yeah.
Like the climate has changed. So
Yeah.
you find that in the season when you expected rain, it is not even there. So you really have to be open-minded. Like umeshikilia mahali hapa kazi ya salary, kidogo uko na kuku hapa, you know, something like that.
Yes.
And that's why I like the youths who start an organization like sisi tunaanza mradi wa kuku. Like we will be doing this. Me, I am employed like the way we are here. I have my own job, but at the same time, we have something apart from our jobs.
Yes.
So that hii kifail, hii ingine inatuokolea. Angalia like corona period, people were on salaries. Hey, companies
really
will collapse.
True.
Unarudi nyumbani, wewe huna hata kuku, hata mayai huwezi pata.
And you don't have savings.
Yeah, and you don't have savings. So you see watu venye walienda chini. So I believe when we become open-minded, like you can do this, you can touch on this, you're not just opaque, you know? You
Opaque
can do something.
nature.
Yeah, sure.
So we have spoken on how we can prevent poverty amongst the youths, and that is what we have dealt with, especially on the youth level. Now, as a community, what do we expect the community to eradicate poverty?
Okay, as the community also has a vital role to play, and I believe one of the way of curbing this problem of poverty is through educating our children. So as the community, it's the community supposed to support their youths when they're at school, and not only just going to school, but being given with the relevant education. For instance, currently we have the CBC. Once a youth is well packed, at the end of the day, you'll be able to go out and be more creative and innovative, and you come up with ideas so that it can generate maybe self-employment, and you'll be able to provide for the family and the whole community. Yes, and also lastly, the community has to support the government in coming up with a basic infrastructure. For instance, the government might want to open maybe a road, maybe in a certain area.
Yes.
But the members of the community, they stand against the government. That they don't want maybe like a road. For with the case of the SDR, there are some members of the community they say that the SGR is coming to grab their land. So they for the government. So when the community will have the positive attitude towards the government development plans, we are going to be able to eradicate this poverty.
Yes. You have something to add?
Yes, I'd love to add that we need to educate our women. They say that when you educate a woman, you educate
The society. Yes.
So communities would still believe that it is shunned to educate a lady. It's a waste of money. I'd rather take my boy to school. We need to stay away from that because when you educate a woman, she brings more than just the money. She goes back and looks at my family, my society. What more can I do? Yeah, which is amazing because more senators, our elections, more women are coming up to politics. They will change our society for the better. Early marriages and early pregnancies. If we educate the women, if you tell her this is what happens, when we educate them, we make them empowered. Yes. We tell them that it's okay to wait, get education first. Yeah, it eases the poverty within our society. FGM as well. Yeah. If we shun away from such practices, then we are heading to a really good place because statistics say more women are being educated now, which is really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Harrison.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. If I can add the role that the society can play in eradicating poverty among the youth. We live in a country whereby corruption is the order of the day. Many people are working on, many people who are in those offices, they are not there because they qualified. Corruption has taken a toll in those offices. You want employment, you will be asked, who do you know? Do you have a tall relative in that office? Yeah? Or uko na nini kwa mfuko? So if a society will come together and shun away from that vice of corruption and people learn to be mindful of others. In South Africa, they have a philosophy known as Ubunduism. Ubunduism is togetherness. You mind the welfare of others. You will not grab all the property or money for your own self-aggrandizement. I must be mindful of my neighbor. Nimechukua hii nyama yote, jirani yangu atapata. If we will, people, we will shift our mind from that egocentric nature, self-centeredness, to mindful of others. Definitely, mtu hata atakuwa akifanya corruption na mwambia, hapana, you are giving me this job, but vile najiona sija qualify, Vivian amequalify, nipatie, but ndachukua kazi ya Vivian kwa sababu mjomba yangu wako huko, I have a taller relative, definitely atakosa. Na mimi nikiwa huko kwa kazi, sitafanya kazi. That is why we have quack doctors, quack teachers, quack policemen. They are there not because they merited corruption. If our society will come clean, we will have that philosophy, Ubunduism in mind. We will alleviate the vice of corruption. Poverty will not be there, and people will just enjoy their life. Yes.
Thank you so much, Vivian.
So let me say that our community has a lot to do, and I think one thing is bridging the gap that is existing between the rich and the poor.
Yes.
So you find that for the poor person to get out of where they are, they need a hand.
Yes.
And when they receive this hand now, it can pull them to get to this other person who is rich. So as for me, it is something that I desire that even they that have, they hold the hands of they that do not have. By this, at least, tamleta karibu kidogo. Like you have seen even in movies or for them that have been able to travel maju, you find that their roads are clean. Hakuna penye kuna mawe, like
taka uchafu kwa barabara.
taka, because they have raised each other, like kila mtu amefikia a certain standard. We need to understand, me having a lot of money will not eradicate poverty.
True.
But having something that is substantial to me, na huyu mwingine pia ako nayo ya kumsustain, itatuinua sisi wote, and we will get at par, and that one will eradicate poverty. Yeah.
Sawa sawa. It has been a very educative conversation with my friends over here, and I'm sure if you have been following it up, you have gained a lot and you have really learned a lot. Eradication of poverty. Tunaanza mradi eradication of poverty among the youths.
Yeah.
So this time round, we really want to eradicate poverty among the youths. And how are we going to eradicate poverty among the youths? We have just been told some of the things that we need to do. So on to our last bit of the show. Maybe we are going to have final remarks. Maybe you just give your final remarks. What would you tell the community, or what would you tell people outside there concerning the topic that we've just had? We will start with Jackton.
Okay, thank you, Savannah. My final remarks to the community and the youths. Let me begin the community.
Yes.
Let us support our youths by fighting first tribalism, and let us hold our youth the hand. Whenever they need our support, let us give them. For instance, if a youth wants to open a business, you as a parent, give them some capital so that they can begin that business. Then for the youth, let us be open-minded, and let us appreciate the small or the humble beginnings. Because you have those youths who want to get employed, but they have raised their standards. I cannot be employed unless the job is at 30,000, and yet there's a job opportunity of 20,000. After that 20,000, and begin from there, and you are going to raise from one level to another, and this will help us to eradicate poverty among the youths. And generally, this is a problem. As a youth, let us rise up and fight this problem.
Thank you so much. Yes, Mama.
My final remark is change ni mimi, change ni wewe.
Yes.
We can't just sit down and expect things to change if you don't move and if I don't move. We can't sit down and whine and get grumpy and cry that, oh, the government, this, serikali here, serikali there. What can you do? Yeah? Start from what you have.
Yes.
Start from what, and don't be scared of the hard work, because big things happen when you get up. Just get out of bed. Yeah, don't wait, because you'll be waiting for a really, really long time. Do something about it. Small uzamandazi. Small. You always start somewhere. Big things start with the little steps. So let's not be scared of the hard work, because we want the patapotea, we want the quick things, and that's not how life goes. The quicker it comes, the quicker it goes. So don't be scared of the little bit. You build character. That's how you build character. And our youth, we don't have that. Most of us don't. We want, okay, yes, I want this, I want this, I want. It's want.
Yes.
Yeah. Look at your environment. Networking is very important. Don't just be on your phone. Interact with people. Get a skill. Learn this, learn that. You never know where it may come in handy. Yeah. So don't be scared of the hard work. That's my shout out to the youth. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Harizo.
Yeah. Vijana, we are the majority. We are the majority.
The majority.
Yes, we are the majority.
Yes.
And one thing that I want to say is, as we go out there, many youth are missing employment. Not that they are lacking the knowledge. We have been given that capacity, either through schooling, but we are lacking the personal skill. How to associate with the people, how to interact with the people. An organization will not employ you if you don't have those personal skills. Haujui vile utakaa na watu, wewe ni kugombana tu, wewe ni mwizi tu. Nani atakuandika? Ulisikia wapi? You will definitely not. If we perfect on personal skills, we will be able to fit anywhere that we will go. And let us be creative. Usikae tu atulipata your degree now. Go an extra mile. Creativity will open new doors, new avenue, new ventures. And definitely we will be able to have our own money. And when we have our own money, we are the majority. The society will have money. That is me.
Thank you so much. Esther.
Yes, my final remark, let me say it is not a choice to be born poor, but it is a choice to die poor.
Exactly.
So even if you're there and maybe you're in a situation that is wanting, you shouldn't give up actually. You don't give up. Yeah. Everybody, even the people we see, billionaires and millionaires, they started from somewhere. They were not just born and then they found millions on their table. You can just start from somewhere. And I believe we will make it. And then lastly, involve God. God can make everything to happen. Yeah. So involve God, work hard, work smart, and I know that God will take us somewhere.
Wow. Thank you so much for your kind remarks concerning the topic. Someone has just said, change ni mimi, change ni wewe. You cannot change, I remain the same, and then we eradicate poverty. No. I cannot change, you remain the same, then you eradicate poverty. No. I must change, you must change before we eradicate poverty, because it is us. It is not me, it is not you. So it's been a very lively conversation with my friends over here, and very, very educative. If you continue watching our videos, especially the Convo table, you will get to hear more of this conversation, heart-to-heart conversations, and very educative conversation. It has been nice being with you. It has been nice hosting you people. Thank you so much for coming. And this has been the Convo Table Show. I have been your host, Sawene Disguise. And until next time, we all tell them bye.